Hey y'all, it's your girl Millie Chine. So this is a story, kind of like the 15-year-old girl who had to stand up in front of the church. This is a Tia, and she's telling us her story. I thought you might like this because I found it to be very interesting. So let's just get
In
into
line of
it.
recent events, I want to tell you guys a story time about how I was forced to apologize for being pregnant in front of an entire church, subsequently kicked out, and told if I came back it would be criminal trespassing. Year was circa 2009. I was 18 years old, fresh out of school, about to start college, chasing behind some little boy. I say church very loosely because it was really a cult, but he had been there for like 9 years, so he was good and indoctrinated at the time. It was summertime before we started college together, and his family was always at church. So, of course, I was at church too. I joined the church and everything, and one of the requirements to join the church is you have to do an interview with the pastor and the reverend. The reverend was the pastor's wife, and they ask you if you're a virgin, and I told them straight up, no, baby, I am not. They asked me if I planned on being celibate, and I was like, not really. And let me tell y'all, from that point forward, they did not like my black ass because they had the youth unlocked. Everybody was celibate. Everybody had abstinence rings. They did not want my harlot ass in that church, but there I came. Their crowning achievement was the young man that I followed up in there. You hear me? He was a virgin at 18 years. They had had him for 9 years. They were their golden child. They did not want me there, but there I was. Anyway, I snatched that young man's virginity up the second we got to school, and I got pregnant the exact same day. Now, I took a plan B, but she must have ate it because a few weeks later, baby, positive pregnancy test. We were here. We ended up telling his mother, who was also very indoctrinated with the church at the time. She ends up telling the pastor. So one day after service, a few weeks into my pregnancy, they have everybody stay except for the kids. The kids get to go to the youth ministry. They have everybody else stay. Now, for additional context, y'all have to understand, these people did not like me because I came in asking way too many questions. Like, for one, why are y'all collecting tithes 3 times per service when it's the same group of people in there? Or about how y'all collected $1 million for a new church because y'all been in a storefront plaza for the last few years. You finally get the money up, and then the deal doesn't go through and all the money is gone and people have to re-raise the money. I was like, that feels like embezzlement. Again, they did not like me. Okay, so boom, this is after service. The kids have gone away, and they have me and homeboy stand up, and basically he tells the entire church, we have a sinner amongst us. He goes on to tell the church that I have done the highest level of sin by having premarital sex and conceiving a child, and he wants me to apologize to him, the church, and God before everybody. Homeboy that had been to the church, he apologized. I looked at them people like they were fucking crazy for like a solid 5 minutes, because if you think I'm apologizing for creating life, apologizing to y'all, you got me fucked up. Furthermore, I didn't even know there was a sin scale while he was standing up there in his cheap polyester blend suit, Leviticus 19:19, or when his daughter was in his office giving head to the youth ministers, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, when they finally let me up out that bitch, I ran to the side of the church and I called my mother. My mother was about 45 minutes away. She got to that bitch in 20 minutes. Now, what I didn't say is while they were up there shaming me and Buddy for having a baby, they had a deacon that had 2 women pregnant at the exact same time, and they knew it when it happened, but coincidentally, he didn't get called out in the same fashion. I wonder why. Anyway, my mother came up there ready to knock shit down, but he refused to come out of the office. He literally had like his deacons creating a barrier to his office, but we was up there nutting up. I was about to call the news. It was about to be a whole situation, but we decided to just let it go because I was 18, pregnant. I had a lot going on already, but baby, it was finna be some problems. A few days later, I got a letter that said if I came up there, it would be criminal trespassing and I was no longer allowed to come because I would not follow the Lord's counsel. Anyway, because God don't play about me, their church started going downhill real fast. People started leaving left and right after this incident. You hear me? They tried to get my baby daddy to renounce the child and say that it wasn't his or what have you. He refused. They kicked him out too. At one point, they wanted me to have the child so that they could adopt my kid out to some people in the church that were infertile or some bullshit. I don't know what happened. Anyway, I had a very strong sense of self, and I was very comfortable with my relationship with God, so none of that really impacted me like that to this day. But my mother still gets pissed off. She wants to catch a fade with that man to this day. She cannot stand him. They are actually still open. They actually finally did get a location. I will name drop if y'all want to know. I have so many more stories about that church, and honestly, that's not even the only church I've ever been kicked out of and told not to come back. So if y'all want to hear those stories, let me know in the comments below. Until next time. Hello, everybody. This is the update to the story about the pastor who made me stand up before the entire church and apologize for being pregnant. And yes, I will be dropping names in this video. But first, if we're going to do a call out video, we're going to do it the right way, and we're going to make sure your anger is directed at the right place and the right people. First order of action, if you guys decide to write a review, y'all know Google will just simply take them down. So what I want you to do is, in your reviews, I want you to call the members of the church away. I want you to tell them that they are loved away from that church. I want you to tell them that they don't need that pastor to be happy. I want you to speak life into them, because those are the people that's going to read those reviews. Second order of action, I want you to go to the Secretary of State's website once you find out the name of who they are, and I want you to file a complaint under the charity division. We want them funds investigated, y'all. This is how you make real change. We go after them pockets. These reviews, they're not going to stick. Google's going to take them out, but stuff like this, someone's going to follow up if enough people make noise. And last order of action, if you decide to comment on any of their social medias, I want you to be positive. I want you to call the members in. Again, speak love, light, and everything into the members so that they don't feel the need to stay beside that pastor and his wife. All right, now let's get into the story. So since I posted that video yesterday, several former members of the church have come forward and they have said they've been waiting to speak their turn. So they look forward to stitching this current video and telling their story as well. So this isn't even the end, y'all. The tea is going to keep getting hot. Now, stuff that I experienced personally, I'm just going to say, but anything that anyone else told me, I'm going to say allegedly, because I'm telling y'all, they're going to send me a cease and desist. They are coming for my ass when I post this. Okay, so the name of this church is Family Life Baptist Church. They are located in Fayetteville, Georgia. This is their Google page. I need y'all to make sure y'all are targeting the right place, because there are multiple Family Life churches out there. The pastor's name is Alfred Lands and the wife's name is Rosemary Lands. I'm going to get into some of my own experiences because they were relatively mild in comparison to what other things people have told me. So I told you guys about how I questioned why they had a new building fund. Well, the reason I questioned that is there used to be a big picture where you could see the goal and how much money everyone had made, and every time a deal fell through with the real estate, they just started it over. So I remember asking that question out in the office. They pulled me into the office and admonished me for questioning where the money went. Another time I was walking into the church, and I guess the pastor wasn't too far behind me because a deacon came running up behind me to open the door for the pastor. They then scolded me for not opening the door for him, and I was just like, he's a man. And they were like, a man of God that's not allowed to touch doors. Oh. Now, remember my mother-in-law, who was fully indoctrinated at the time, she wasn't even allowed to celebrate her birthday because her birthday was on the same day as the pastor's. They did not allow her to celebrate her birthday because she had to set up his birthday every year. For 9 years, this woman did not celebrate her birthday, and they did not let her. If you left the church, you were immediately excommunicated. The other members were not allowed to talk to you, and members of the church were not allowed to date and or get married unless they got permission from the pastor and the reverend. I need y'all to keep in mind while I'm telling this story, these people were in a cult, and if you look up what a cult is, they were literally being brainwashed. What I experienced was not unique. Shame was a very useful weapon for them. At one point, the pastor forced this young man to come out in front of the male ministry and forced his mother to legally change his name because he felt like his mother gave him too feminine of a name. Now we're going to move into the place where I have to start saying allegedly. Allegedly, a minister there molested several young girls, so much so that he had to be fired from his place of work, and the pastor and the reverend had to come up there and defend him and somehow get that put under the rug. Again, allegedly. Allegedly, any behavior that they viewed as demonic would absolutely lead to an exorcism, and an exorcism looked like you getting beat the shit out of, and that could be for anything from being gay to misbehaving in school. Allegedly, there were ministers that touched both boys and girls. Allegedly, there was tons of embezzlement with the use of forged documents, fake bank statements, and tax documents, all with money that was siphoned directly from their members. Again, allegedly. Now, I know I'm saying allegedly to protect myself legally, but just know I would never bring these sort of claims forward if I did not have evidence. All that said, in the last video, I got a lot of questions about why I would even join a church under false pretenses if I didn't agree with them, and also what my current relationship is with the church and spirituality and all that. And I'll do a follow-up video for that, because like I said, this video is going to be stitched by multiple members of the church. They've already come forward and said that they have something to say, so I'm going to leave that space for them. So until next time, you guys, toodles.